What if I was to tell you that a lot of the things that we've learned may not be true or accurate, and that history may have actually happened different ways? They say that history is written by the victors, and I want to tell you a story about one of those. About 150 years ago, one of the greatest civilizations that ever existed just vanished from the history books, and we don't even know their name or where they come from. So I want to tell you about these people in this place. So let's begin this story right now. Hello, welcome. Thank you for watching my video. My name is Bill Connors. I've been considered a conspiracy theorist by some. I prefer to think of myself more as a truth seeker. And what I'm going to show you today is basically proven history that has been forgotten for the most part. It's amazing the scope of this cover up, uh, but everything can't be hidden, and people still remember. Well, people don't remember this place. Everybody who knew about this place has long been dead, but they've passed it on to their kids, and there's still documentation out there, and it's a pretty hot topic. So people are finding out more and more information about this. So I'm going to start this off with Alexander Pushkin. He wrote a poem called Ruslan and Ludmilla back in 1820. You may want to read the whole thing. I'm going to leave links to all this stuff in the section below. Uh, I'm just really interested in this first line. There's a green oak tree by the shores of the blue bay on a gold chain. All right, so this line right here has been translated into English, originally written in Russian, and the Russian original language that it was written in said something more like, in Lucamora, there's a green oak tree, or there's a green oak tree in Lucamora, or there's a green oak tree by the shores of the Blue Bay in Lucamora. I don't know exactly where this comes in. It's not my big focus here. It's just something that I had learned that Lucamora was actually part of this poem. So this is a site that kind of is about his poem, and one of the things in there, like I said, is Lucamora, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Um, this site asks, does this place exist? And their definition is Lucamora is a semi-fictional land in Russian folklore uh, and history. All right, so yes, artists, poets may write in fiction, sure, but what if this wasn't fiction? What if this place actually existed? Well, I'm going to direct you to this map. It's called Carte de Tartarie. Um, this is pronounced and spelled out all different kinds of ways. Um, Tartarie, Tartaria, Tartar. I mean, in a lot of different places, you'll see different spellings and different. I'm going to point out some of the interesting spellings that are in this as well. This map is from 1706. It was 314 years ago that this map was created. And because of this sigil here, it's pretty significant. This map is significant. It's kind of outlining the villages, and it's a document. Um, these people look European or maybe Russian. They don't look Oriental to me in any which way, shape, or form. Kind of, horsemen and, um, maybe like, I don't know, but they're definitely not Oriental, and that's one of the fallacies we're gonna talk about here. All right, so why am I talking about 1706 in this map? Well, this is Russia. You'll see here, this is China, this is India. Um, I think over here is Persia. I'm not sure. But the place that we're interested in is this place, Lucamora. It's right there. This was the region that he was talking about in 1820. Whether he was doing it from history, a place in history or whatever, that's not exactly what I think. I think he was actually, this place was called Lucamora. This was not called Russia. This was called Grand Tartary. All right, so or Tartaria or Tartar, I don't know, but I can tell you that that's the name of this place. It has to deal with that name. So we, from videos I've seen and you know reading and stuff, this area right here is possibly the bay that he was talking about. Um, and over here would be the green oak tree and this mountain range. And I want to kind of just pan around this area a little bit. All of this stuff looks like there's villages. I mean, it even looks like a highway is here. Um, and this is China. I mean, this place looked like it was busy. It looked like it's full of stuff. Over here, this is I think this is actually Korea, Korea. Um, see, things were spelled differently. China was spelled Chine, Chine. Um, India was Indies. India was also Hinduistan at one point. Um, Things in maps and regions and boundaries and countries, they all change. Everything changes throughout history. You have conquerors that come in and take over places, and which I'll touch on a little bit. So, anyways, there's the that map. I didn't pull this up. I don't know why. I'm gonna go to Google Maps. I'm gonna type in Russia. We're going over to Russia, and I want to do a satellite view because this is an actual. It's kind of cool that they got the boundaries of all the countries and stuff. So this is Russia. It's the largest country in the world. It's massive. I mean, it's almost like a whole continent. And for an example, this is Africa. It looks like Africa could fit in Russia, which is a whole different can of worms. I don't want to go down that path right now, but supposedly you could fit almost every country into Africa. But I don't want to get into that right now. If you want to look that up, it's kind of cool. Um, so this is Lucamora. Um, doing the looking at it, this would be Lucamora, and this would be the bay, and the green oak tree would be over in here. And the weird thing is why was he talking about this oak tree? What was the significance of this oak tree? Well, look at these things. They look like roots. If these are roots, these are massive. I mean, let's go to a town or something, and I guess I mean these are, look how far up I am. There's some sort of building or something, and these are buildings, houses, whatever. Um, so I mean, this is significantly high and you can see them plain as day. They look like roots. I don't know if it's, this is part of the conspiracy thing. I mean, were there giant trees? I mean, there, you can look down that rabbit hole too, and there's a lot of people that claim there were giant trees, like even Devil's Tower in Wyoming. Sure looks like a giant tree stump to me. But anyways, let's. That's not what this video is about. This area is called Putaransky. There's a place over here. Um, I know it's Putarana Plateau. Um, I just want to copy and paste this. Putarana Plateau. All right, so this is actually where it's. I know I should have just gone right to it, but this is Putarana Plateau. It's part of Putaransky Reserve. This is very desolate, very cold. Nobody lives here. There it's mountain ranges, and you know here's, if you kind of pan around, play around in this area, sometimes you'll find things that look like ancient mines. Um, but I'm not gonna start searching for those right now because I can't remember exactly where they were. But I found them in here before. Maybe over in this area here. Anyways, I don't want to drive you crazy on that. I just the reason why I'm bringing up this Putaransky Plateau is this is what the region looks like. It's just very, you know, heavy wilderness. Um, there's another picture. I mean, it's beautiful. But this is also probably more summertime. Um, I imagine the winter is very cold. You know, and they're, like I said, it's mountains. I mean, that's just absolutely beautiful. Well, this region a long time ago was filled with people. I mean, we saw it on this map. I mean, this map has tons and tons of, you know villages or cities and highways. It was very busy. It's not as busy as it used to be. Um, and these people were actually in highly intelligent. Um, this is a runestone from 5300 BC, and the runestone is supposedly actual writings, literature. These people had spoken words, 5300 BC. It's a pretty long time ago, considering the Sumerian Sanskrit. That they were from like 5200 BC. This predates it by quite a significant amount, 3,000 years. And these rune stones were discovered in Poland in 1961. All right, they're in at the National Museum of Transylvania. So I mean that's kind of really cool stuff that these people were writing long before anybody else were. So you would imagine they would have great technologies, advanced technologies for their time. Um, these people were builders. I mean, they were great architects. This is some of the Tartarian architecture. It's very ornate. It's very Romanesque, you could say, which makes you wonder if Roman architecture is Roman architecture and not Tartarian architecture. These buildings and this representation can be found in every part of the world. I mean, every part of the world you can see this stuff. Um, and at I'm not going to say at all, because I know it's not true, that wars may be a way that they were able to erase this civilization from history. Like in World War II, I'm going to show you Dresden, Poland. I mean, beautiful, just very, very ornate stuff, old, ancient architecture looking stuff. I mean, it's just far cool. I actually want to go there. I mean, but there was a time in World War II where Dresden wasn't as pretty. They actually carpet bombed this place and created a firestorm that they said killed 22,000, maybe up to 22,000 people, but they actually speculate it could be up to 220,000, which, looking at these pictures, I mean, you would imagine that more people than 20,000 died from this. Well, this place was actually, actually in part of my presentation I'm going to give you. um, I mean, this place was in, Dresden is in Poland, and part of my story actually deals with Poland. Um, so going back to it, Tartary. You're not going to find that name in an atlas unless it's very old, because that name's kind of been it kind of died out centuries ago, um, and is now kind of called Mongolia. I mean, that's what they say it is now, and of Mongolia. I mean, the Great Wall of China was built to keep the Mongolians out, right? I mean, that's what how the story kind of goes. But really, honestly, the Great Wall of China, I think they started construction in around 700 or 800 BC, um, and it was mostly because of territorial threats between rival Chinese states, or Chine states. Um, and in around 220 BC, and I can't remember exactly his name. It's like Qin Shi Hung or something. That could be it. Um, he ordered this wall to be built further to protect China from nomadic hordes. Once China, he kind of united China, and they were supposedly protecting themselves from these Chinese horde, or these nomadic hordes that wandered these lands. Um, so another character that we all know and have heard of is Attila the Hun. He was a ruler of this tribal empire consisting of Huns, Austroglots, and Alans, and mostly in Central and Eastern Europe, um, around the 4th century. So this is the mid the late 300s BCs, somewhere in there, and mostly around where Poland is today, which is right here. This is Poland. Um, in the 6th century, moving a couple hundred years later, the Turkish, I'm going to butcher this name because I've read it. I've never heard anybody say it, so I'm going to say it's Kuganot. Kuganot. Um, the Turkish Kuganot were the ones that conquered the regions around the Silk Road, and and this is where the first time that China actually wrote about the Tartars. So this is 500 AD to 600 AD. So we're talking over a century ago. You know, over a millennia. So thousands of years probably this place existed called Tartary, and we're just starting to learn about it now. and it died off in the late 1800s. The Silk Road went from was a trade road that went from China to Europe, and it was in this area that it existed. The Chinese would load up with silk and go bring it over to Europe for gold and trinkets or whatever. I don't know much about it. I just kind of know that that's what Genghis Khan ruled. He ruled this area, um, and people paid taxes and tribute, and he was the leader um, in the early 1200s. So in the early 1200s, he controlled this road from, and I'm gonna butcher this one. Um, I can't remember. There's some river here. I can't remember what it is. It's in Ukraine. It's somewhere in here. So he ruled this entire area from here all the way over to China. Okay, all the way over here, and probably more like in here, because supposedly he pushed in on China. Um, we don't know what the map looked like then, but Genghis Khan. These people were horsemen and great warriors and conquerors. That's what they did. Um, Now I'm gonna see if I can pull up some pictures because this kind of blows my mind. Um, this is supposedly a picture of Attila the Hun, Oriental looking guy, right? Um, I think this is another picture of him. Um, Definitely Oriental looking. Here's what he looked like. That doesn't look Oriental at all. This guy was an Aryan. Um, Attila the Hun was not. He was Germanic, or you know, I think that back in that time, in his time, these were giant Germanic tribes that ruled this area, and he was pretty much in here. So the same thing with um, Genghis Khan. Looks kind of Oriental. They kind of made him an Oriental guy. Uh, this is more of a reality of what he looked like. Um, there are statues. He had a massive nose, red hair. Um, they found pictures that had been they scratched out his face so you really couldn't see what he looked like, but you could tell that he had red hair and a red beard. Definitely Aryan, Caucasian. So there's even mummies that date back to the 2000 BC from Tartaria with similar features. They also had swastikas around the burial site, and you know in those days the swastika means something totally different than what it means today. I mean, the modern name is evil, but the original name means like um, conducive to like well-being, good faith, good hope. Um, so these nomadic people were known as Mongols, um, because they got their name from actually Mongolia, but they were Tartarians. So Genghis Khan ruled this area from the 1200s, and later his grandson Kublai Khan took over, and the Tartars dominated China during the early Middle Ages and maintained a reign of terror. I mean, they were brutal. Um, I think the name of this river is Dnieper, Dnieper, Dnieper River. And these guys were born horsemen, and they controlled all the way from here to the Sea of Japan. And Tartaria went from all this area here, uh, all the way up to the Kara Sea, Pacific Ocean, east of Korea and China, to South India and eastern Turkestan and Persia today, which is the Middle East. So they ruled a big portion of land. All right, so I want to go touch on just a couple more things. Um, there's a there's a thing called forbidden archaeology, which if I could spell, that would be nice. Um, and this guy Michael Cremo, um, you may want to check him out because he will say that people have been on Earth a lot longer than the accepted 250,000 years. He's got proof that people have been on this planet for maybe millions, and on the outskirts billions of years. So that's Michael Cremo. I'm going to put a link to one of his forbidden archaeology videos. And then the last one I want to talk about is I don't have him. Michael Tellinger. This guy is pretty cool too. I mean, he's got he's got a thing with Stonehenge. Like one of the pillars on Stonehenge fell over and broke in half, and yeah, I don't know exactly how old they say Stonehenge is. I just kind of know what he said, that they're wrong. They're completely wrong. Stonehenge has been around for millions of years because if with the way that thing broke in half, you would be able to put it back together. If it just happened, or 100 or 1,000 years later, you'd be able to put that back together, and you would hardly even know it was cracked if you had adhesive, and you could make it look like it never happened. But right now, it looks like two bald ends. That you wouldn't even know it was part of the same stone. And he said that takes millions of years to happen. So this is another guy you may want to check out. He's got some interesting stories. I think I've searched his YouTube. He used to have a video that he actually did DNA samples on rocks and found DNA in rocks. So rocks aren't the rocks weren't rocks. Anyways, that's just my brief introduction to you on Tartaria and some interesting facts. Um, I'll do some more videos if I get any response from this. Thanks and have a great day.